Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Throat is perfect. Everything okay?
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Chumpi, how you are doing? Kirtana is here. Kirtana is trying to log in. Mayank, perfect. Everything all good?
Yeah, all good, all good.
Yeah, go on. Okay. So in last classes, let everyone come in. Okay. In last classes, what we discussed in last classes, we discussed about doctrine of separation of power, right? यही पढ़ा था?
Yes, and doctrine of check and balance.
Okay, doctrine of separation of power and doctrine of check and balances. Arya, tell me what is doctrine of separation of power? What is doctrine of separation of power?
Doctrine of separation of power. This concept was given by French philosopher Montesquieu, and this doctrine of power explains all functions of the state, and it should be performed by separate organs of the state.
Okay, that is what are the different functions of a state? Buana, what are the different functions of a state?
The law making and law implementation, law adjudication.
Okay.
Like law.
Wait. Let me ask. Kirtana, can you hear me, dear? Kirtana?
Yes, sir.
Kirtana, you can hear, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kirtana has joined for the first time. These are your other classmates from different parts of India. So, Kirtana, you can hear my voice clearly, right? Perfect?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now tell me, Chumpi, tell me, in last class, we talked about doctrine of separation of powers. Okay. Bhuvana has made it clear that doctrine of separation of power, there are three parts: law making, law implementation, and law adjudication. Chumpi, tell me who performs law making? Who is responsible for making law? Who is responsible for law making?
Legislature.
Very good. Chumpi, legislature includes what all? Legislature includes what all?
Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha.
Very good. Okay. Now, Harsh, tell me, law implementation is done by whom?
Executive.
Please be loud, Harsh.
Executive.
Executive में कौन होते हैं, Harsh?
Civil servant.
Or apart from civil servant, who are the part of executive?
Ministers.
Okay, civil servants and ministers. Sharda, can you hear me? Sharda, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, dear, who performs law adjudication? Judiciary. Okay. Now, Sakshi, you just tell me, we have gone through doctrine of separation of power. What is doctrine of check and balances? Sakshi, batao, what is doctrine of check and balances?
So, in the concept of doctrine of checks and balances, every organ of the state keeps an eye on other organs in order to check on it and to balance its power.
Give an example.
So, like we have taken the example of USA. In first scenario, we have taken that legislature checks on executive and judiciary. That all the appointments done by the American president, that is executive, and all international treaties signed by the US president has to be rectified by the Senate. That is legislature part. So in this, the legislature is more powerful than the executive and the judiciary.
Very good. Good. Go on. If you know, go on.
In second example, we have taken that executive checks on legislature. If a bill passed by the US legislature, that is the Senate, only becomes an act when US president signs the bill. And in this scenario, the executive is more powerful than the legislature.
Okay, enough. Enough. I know that. Why I ask you questions after every class, because see, I want to just know that you are revising the concepts of previous classes. Okay. Yes. So, yeah, Kirtana, you are telling something? Kirtana? You are telling something, dear? Okay. These were the concepts which were taught in the previous classes. Okay. Now we are going to learn a new concept. The concept's name is quasi-presidential system. It is not there in your PPT. I've just added the concept. Okay, the concept's name is quasi-presidential system. Have you heard about this concept? Have you heard about this?
Yes,
No,
sir.
sir. Aman ने पहली बोल दिया no. Aman has said no. Harsh, what is quasi-presidential system? What do you mean by quasi? What do you mean by? Huh. Manju, what is quasi? Manju, what is quasi? What is quasi-presidential system? Quasi का मतलब क्या होता है? What do you mean by the term quasi? Yeah, what do you mean by the term quasi? Tell Harsh. Harsh, बताओ, what do you mean by quasi-presidential system?
इसका नहीं पता.
Hi Manju, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can very well see what you are writing. No issue. Harsh को नहीं पता. Kirti, you know what is quasi-presidential system?
No, sir, no idea.
Okay, Manju, I can't hear. Manju, copy the link on Google Chrome. Copy the link on Google Chrome. Open in Google Chrome. Then you will hear. Then you will hear. Sharda, what is quasi? What do you mean by the term quasi?
Does it mean quarter?
No. What else?
I know quasi federation. I don't know quasi federation.
Quasi means semi. Quasi means, quasi का मतलब क्या होता है? It means semi, partial. Okay. Now, this concept might be very new for you. This concept might be very new for you. You might not have heard about this concept. Quasi means semi. That means it is blend of two things. It is blend of two things means it is mixture of two things. What does it mean? It is mixture of two things. What is it the mixture of? Like, I'll tell you. Quasi. Manju, it is your network problem, dear. That's why you can't hear. आपकी तरफ से network problem है. बाकी सबको मेरी आवाज सुनाई दे रही है. Rest everyone can hear me. Rest everyone can hear me, right? आर्य, हाँ.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Quasi means semi. Okay. Now, what is this quasi-presidential system? Quasi-presidential system is blend. Is a mixture of parliamentary form of government. It is a mixture of parliamentary form of government.
Presidential.
Plus, which form of government? Kirtana?
Presidential form of government.
Very correct. It is a blend of parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government. Palak Mahajan, you are late in that class. Presidential form. It is okay. Okay. It is blend of parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government. Which type of government do we have in India? Which type of government do we have in India?
Parliamentary form of government.
Or who is the head of parliamentary form of government?
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister. Acha, now the question arises here is, your quasi-presidential system is blend of parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government. Then why this quasi-presidential system is named quasi-presidential system? Why not it is named quasi-parliamentary system? You got my point. It is mixture of two. It is mixture of two. Mike, what you are answering?
President is more powerful is above the parliamentary system.
No, in our system, Prime Minister is more powerful.
No, in quasi presidential.
No, the reason is in quasi-presidential system, it is blend. It is mixture of two, parliamentary form and presidential form of government. But the major reason it is considered as quasi-presidential because it resembles more to the presidential form of government. ये ज़्यादातर साम्य है. It resembles more closer to the presidential form of government rather than the parliamentary form of government. Clear? Aman is right. Aman has said in chat box that it resembles more to like more features of presidential. Yes, very correct. That in quasi-presidential system, it has more features closer to the presidential form of government apart from the parliamentary form of government. Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Arya clear? Kirtana clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear? 100% clear?
So can you provide an example?
I will give you the entire detail. I will make you write the notes. Okay. Kirtana clear? Navya clear?
Yes,
Navya?
sir.
Okay, Navya, can you hear me? Navya is always clear. When I take test, then Navya will not be clear. Surya? Surya
Yes,
clear?
I'm clear.
Okay.
Yes, I'm clear.
Manju, now can you hear? Manju is not here actually. Manju has joined the class for the first time and she had certain issues. Write down quasi-presidential system. I'm giving you the notes of quasi-presidential system. Just write it down. Quasi-presidential system. Are you ready? Are you guys ready to write?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, right.
Yes, sir.
Quasi-presidential system. Such type of system is practiced in France and Russia. In France and Russia. Written?
Yes, sir.
It is a blend of presidential form of government. It is a blend of presidential form of government as well the prime ministerial form of government. Since it is more closer to the presidential form of government, but since it is more closer to the presidential form of government, it is called as quasi-presidential system. It is called as quasi-presidential system, not quasi-parliamentary system. Not quasi-parliamentary system. Manju, can you hear me? Please speak up.
Yes, sir.
You can hear me clearly right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Palak, मैंने क्या बोला? What did I explain? Then I will give you example. Arya asked for an example. Now I'll give an example. Palak,
Yes, sir.
मैंने क्या बोला? What did I repeat it?
Presidential system is practiced in France and Russia.
Very good.
It is a blend of both presidential form of government as well as prime minister form of government, but
Okay.
it resembles more closer to the presidential form of government. So it is
Okay.
called as quasi-presidential system, not quasi-prime ministerial system.
Everyone got this much? Everyone clear with this much? Write down example. Example, write down in capital letters France. France. In French case, the president is directly elected by the people. In French case, the president is directly elected by the people. Right, point number 2. Right, point number 2. After the election of the president, the president appoints prime minister of his own choice. After the election of president, the president appoints prime minister of his own choice. Write down third point. On advice of the prime minister, the president appoints a council of ministers. On the advice of the prime minister, the president appoints the council of ministers. Written? Palak, written?
Yes, sir.
Now, what did I say? I'll explain you, then I'll go further. In quasi presidential system, in
One
quasi,
minute.
yeah, go on, mine.
Once the Council of Ministers, as in, do they have the same system of upper house and lower house? Council of Ministers where, in the upper or the lower house?
Council of Ministers are not part of their upper house, neither they are part of lower house. The next statement is that, I'm coming to it, Mike. I'm coming to it. Okay, I'm coming to it. Just let me explain this scenario. Okay. See, in quasi presidential system, people elect whom? People elect president. Now, think one thing clearly. India has a parliamentary form of government, right? Right or wrong?
Right, sir.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Do we elect our president?
No.
Sir.
No, sir.
No, we don't elect our president. That means this system is more similar to presidential form of government, जहां पे president को लोग elect कर रहे हैं, जैसे in USA people elect president ना, like
Yes.
Donald Trump was elected by the people. So this system resembles more like a presidential form of government. Point number one clear?
Yes, sir.
Palak, हाँ या ना?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sakshi, clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. After people elect the president, this president appoints PM. This president appoints PM of his choice. He, like, if I am elected as president, I will appoint Chumpi as PM. Okay, I appoint Chumpi as PM because I know her very well. So I appointed Chumpi as PM. Is it clear? Now, what Chumpi will do, Chumpi will advise me which kind of ministers we should take in the council. Chumpi will advise me which kind of ministers we should take. That means Prime Minister is appointed by President as per his choice. No election is conducted for Prime Minister. Okay, so it is the major difference. Like in parliamentary form of government, the Prime Minister is voted by us. But in this quasi-presidential system, President appoints Prime Minister of his choice. Okay, then Prime Minister advises the President. Prime Minister, what Prime Minister does? Prime Minister advises the President that which kind of ministers, like, yeah, listen to me very carefully. Let us consider this quasi-presidential system in India. Okay, Chumpi, who is the President of India? Palak? Suppose हम इसको assume करते हैं. Let us assume this scenario in Indian system. Okay, suppose it is quasi-presidential system in India. Sri Ramnath Kovind will be voted by the people, that we will vote him. Then Ramnath Kovind will consider a person. Suppose he selected Narendra Modi. So he selected, Ramnath Kovind will select Narendra Modi as PM, and Narendra Modi will advise Ramnath Kovind, yaar mujhe Amit Shah, I want Amit Shah as minister, I want Rajnath Singh as minister. You got the concept of quasi-presidential system?
Yes.
Clear? Kirtana, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
100%?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. I mean, he appoints from where? He appoints from where? He appoints the minister. मतलब अपने मन से किसी को भी.
अपने मन से किसी को. अपने मन से any person can be selected. Any person can be selected. A random person of his choice can be selected. I am answering your question. I am answering your question. Just write down the next point. Your point will be clear. Okay, just write down. Mayank, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Just write down the next point. A minister is randomly appointed. A minister is randomly appointed as per the choice of Prime Minister. As per the choice of Prime Minister. But the minister is not part of the legislature. Is not part of the legislature. Those who have gone through the previous classes, they will very well know that what is legislature. Okay, some people जिन्होंने देखा नहीं है previous classes, उनको थोड़ा problem होगा. You just go through the classes and let me know. Okay, so ministers जो है, ministers will be appointed by the president as per the recommendation of Prime Minister. These people can be random people, but these people will not be part of legislature. That means they won't be part of upper house or lower house. इतना clear हुआ?
Okay. Yes.
मैं clear?
Yes. This much is clear.
Okay. Now write down. If a member of who?
So,
Navya.
so
Ask.
based on what criteria they select them, sir? Just randomly like that?
See, randomly, if the person is qualified, like mostly in where the countries have quasi-presidential system, they look into the person. Like if a businessman is selected as Minister of Commerce, like a scientist will be selected as Ministry of Science and Technology. Got it? Because their qualification is definitely taken into consideration.
Okay.
That is why in our system, I couldn't hear you, Navya.
Sir, it's only about the qualification, or is there anything else they'll consider?
No, they consider the experience, qualification, his field of work, everything is taken into consideration. That is why we sarcastically say that even an 8th class person can be minister in our country, whereas in other countries, there are qualifications for ministers to be elected. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now write down, if a minister, now I'll make it more clearer for you. If a minister is appointed from the legislature, suppose a person is selected, legislature is there, no? Legislature, if the minister is appointed from this legislature, he needs to resign from his legislature post. He needs to resign from the legislature post. Is this clear? Chumpi,
No,
is this
sir, I
clear?
didn't understand this part.
Who didn't understand?
For me, sir, Sharada. I didn't understand this part.
Okay. I'll make it more clearer. Sharda, we took the example of quasi-presidential system in the concept of India. I know this concept is a bit difficult. Okay. That's why I took the concept of quasi-presidential system into India. Okay. What we did, we selected Ramnath Kovind. Okay. That is, we selected president. Ramnath Kovind selected Shri Narendra Modi. Okay. The choice of selecting prime minister was choice of Ramnath Kovind. That Ramnath Kovind wanted PM Modi as prime minister, so he selected her. Now what Modi did? Modi asked Ramnath Kovind to appoint Amit Shah and Rajnath Singh as his ministers. Okay.
Yes,
okay. This much is clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now listen here. We have two houses. Legislature includes two parts.
Yes, sir. Upper and lower.
Upper and lower house. That is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If this minister, suppose if Amit Shah is part of Lok Sabha, okay, then he cannot be ministers. If he needs to be made minister, he has to resign from here. Got it?
Yes, sir.
If he needs to be made minister, he needs to resign from here. If he is part of Rajya Sabha, if he needs to be made minister, he needs to resign from here. That is, in quasi-presidential system, no minister can be part of legislature. If he is part of legislature, he needs to resign from his post and legislature. Is it clear or not?
It's clear, sir.
Manju, clear? पक्का 100%? कोई डाउट? हाँ साक्षी पूछो.
Sir, so it will be the example of doctrine of separation of power also.
How?
So because
Achha, you are saying
legislature
about very correct. It will be example of doctrine of separation of power because executive is not part of legislature.
Part of legislature.
Very good, Sakshi. Well combined. Very good. Kirtana clear? Harsh clear? Navya, Palak?
Yes, sir.
Arya? Kirtana is doing good. Okay. Now, sorry. Now, one more thing. I will explain you one more time. You know, I took this example into Indian one because you will understand the concept better. Okay. Now, remember one more thing. Write down another point. Even though the ministers are not part of legislature, they take part in proceedings of the house. even though they take part in the proceedings of the house. That is lower house. That is lower house. Listen carefully. See, Mayank is here. Mayank, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Mayank, मैंने क्या बोला था? What did I say? Ministers will not be part of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. I am considering this example in the Indian one, but even if the ministers are not part of this Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, यहाँ से तो they have resigned. No, they have resigned from here, but still they will come and sit in Lok Sabha. Why? Still they will come and sit in Lok Sabha. Why?
They are the ministers. They are responsible for that ministry, and they have
Yes.
to take part in the law making or the resolutions that has to be passed for that particular ministry.
No, they have to inform. No, they have to inform what are they doing. They are responsible for informing the common man, and Lok Sabha is house of people. उनको common man को inform करना है ना कि ये हो रहा है. So where will they present themselves? They will present in front of Lok Sabha, that is lower house. But in case of France and Russia, it is not lower house, it's something else. But I'm taking this example, all scenario into India, so you guys understand it better. Clear or not? Palak, clear? Palak, क्या मैंने क्या बोला? हाँ?
मुझे आवाज नहीं आ रही थी.
अच्छा, पूरा आवाज नहीं है. कहाँ से आवाज नहीं आई?
तो मुझे समझ नहीं आया, रिपीट कर दो.
वेरी गुड. आवाज नहीं आ रही तो मैं रिपीट कर दूं. शाबाश बेटा. कहाँ से आवाज नहीं आया?
तो यही लास्ट पॉइंट.
बस लास्ट पॉइंट देखो. सी, the ministers are not part of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. If the ministers are part of suppose a minister is elected from Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, they have to resign from here. Okay, but the ministers take part in the proceedings of the lower house, that is Lok Sabha. Ministers take part in the proceedings of the lower house, क्योंकि कहीं तो बताएंगे ना जाके हमने देश के लिए ये काम किया है. Somewhere or the other they have to go and present themselves that we are doing this. So ministers always come and sit in Lok Sabha, but they are not the part of Lok Sabha. Clear or not?
Yes.
Harsh.
So sir, if like in India, the legislature is responsible for law making के लिए sir. Here in France, the legislature, what do these guys do? Means they are not part of the law making.
These guys, see, ministers, the major function, if you have gone through the previous classes, you were not there. See, legislature is responsible for law making. Okay. Yes, and executive is responsible for implementing this law. Legislature makes the law. Executive implements the law. And who are executive? One is civil servants.
The ministers and the civil servants.
So these ministers are responsible for executing the law. Clear? Okay. They are not part of making the law, but they are part of executing the law. Is it clear?
So if they are not part of the legislature, then who is responsible or who will be the part of the legislature?
There will be other members. There will be other members who will be part of the legislature. Legislature are also elected ones. They are elected ones. They are voted ones.
So as they're part of the Lok Sabha, they don't get the privilege which Lok Sabha members get.
No, they don't get any privilege. They will be getting the privileges of ministers, but they won't be getting any. Don't make it Lok Sabha. They don't make it. Please mute your phones. Don't make the term Lok Sabha, because मैंने इस example को India में डाल दिया. I have just put this example into India's version. This system is not practiced in India. I am making again and again this concept clear. आप लोगों को समझाने के लिए, to make it more apt for you guys, I have put this concept into India's version. Okay. See, these ministers come and sit in Lok Sabha. They are majorly responsible for implementing the law. They are not at all responsible for law making. They are not at all responsible. Kirtana, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Whatever I am conveying, is it you are getting it?
Yes, sir.
100%?
Yes.
Okay. Arya, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, my other question is, my next question is, suppose this ministers has to be removed. Suppose this ministers has to be removed. Where will be the resolution be presented to remove this ministers? Suppose this ministers has to be removed. Where will be the resolution presented to remove the ministers? Where will be the
President.
where will be the no where will be the resolution presented? Where will be the resolution presented? Suppose this minister in quasi-presidential system, suppose the ministers has to be removed, where will be the resolution presented?
Parliament.
In which house? In which house? Manju, where? In which house? In which house the resolution will be presented?
Lower house.
Lower house. Who said that? That was a correct answer. Who said that?
Me, Manju.
Very correct answer. The ministers will be coming and sitting in the lower house. In quasi-presidential system, the ministers will be coming and sitting in the lower house. So the resolution will be definitely presented in the lower house. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Very good. The resolution will be presented in order to remove the minister. The resolution will be presented in the lower house. Clear or not?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So this was all about quasi-presidential system. I hope everyone got the point clear. I hope everyone got the point clear. Harsh, समझ में आ गया? Harsh,
Yes.
Chumpi.
Yes, sir.
I know this concept was a bit complicated. Kirtana, Navya, Mayank,
Yes.
Sakshi, Sharda,
Yes, yes.
Surya. Everyone got the concept?
Sir, for the removal of the minister, they'll present it at the lower house. But the ministers are not a part of the legislature. He just now said that the ministers are not a part of the legislature. Then why are they presenting it at the lower house, sir? Because they're not part of that house.
That is a norm written in the quasi-presidential system. That quasi-presidential system, somewhere or other they have to present a resolution to remove the minister. Okay.
Yes.
In India's case, we are presenting it in lower house, or then we are moving it to Rajya Sabha. Then from there we are removing the ministers. But in quasi-presidential system, somewhere or other they have to present. So they have decided in quasi-presidential system, a resolution will be presented in Lok Sabha or lower house in order to remove the minister. Is it clear or not?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
That is the norms written in that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now you have written. Who will explain me the entire quasi-presidential system? Who is so daring enough to? Who will explain? Kirtana, will you take the responsibility of explaining me whatever I have taught? Kirtana is not responding. Kirtana?
I'll try.
Arya will try. Arya, go on.
Quasi-presidential system. It is a type of a system which is practiced in France and Russia, and it is a blend of presidential form of government and prime minister form of government. Since it is more close to presidential form of government, it is called as quasi-presidential system, and not quasi-parliamentary form of system. And in quasi-presidential system, the people elect the president, and after people elect the president will appoint the prime minister, and prime minister will advise the president about the kind of ministers he wants. A minister is randomly appointed as the president as per the recommendation of prime minister, but they won't be part of the legislature.
Very correct.
If a minister is appointed from legislature, he needs to resign from the legislature post.
Very correct.
And even though the ministers are not part of the legislature, they take part in the proceedings of the house, that is lower house. So because they are responsible and they have to inform the people what they are doing.
Okay. In which country the concept of quasi-presidential system is followed? In which country the concept of quasi-presidential system is followed?
France and Russia.
Be loud, Manju, be loud.
France and Russia.
Very correct. The concept of quasi-presidential system is followed in the France and Russia. Very good. Good guys. Kirtana?
So,
Kirtana?
so I have a doubt.
Who have a doubt? Sharda.
So, me, Sharada, yes, sir.
Ask, go on.
No, can you just tell me what's the difference between this system and the system which is there in America, that is presidential system?
See, can I explain?
Yes, sir.
See, in the quasi-presidential system, the prime minister is appointed as per the choice of president. Okay, sorry, the prime minister is appointed as per the choice of president. But in America, in case of America, the prime minister is also elected one. Okay, it is not randomly selected. He is also elected one. The people of those, like the people, state people, and they don't have the prime minister post. Have you heard about the prime minister of America?
No, sir.
No, then why? In this form, the prime minister is elected. The prime minister is elected by the president, but in case of a presidential form of government, there is no prime minister.
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear or not? See, what I wanted to explain is, see, there are three kinds of system. You might have heard about two. One is parliamentary form of government, where prime minister is the head. Other one is presidential form of government, where president is the head. Even in the quasi-presidential system, it has more resemblance to the presidential form of government, but there also you have a prime minister. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now,
so the ministers are taken out the same way like how it is taken out in presidential form?
I couldn't hear you anything. Please be a bit slow and slowly say.
Sir, the process of removal of a minister in quasi-presidential system is the same as how it is done in presidential system?
Yeah, almost same. The process of removal doesn't change much.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I know the concept of quasi-presidential system was new to you, so I took so much time to explain it. Now I want to explain you another concept. Before that, no, you guys have to tell me what is federation. Few days back, no, when I used the term federation, मैंने आपको बोला था that federation is very important term in Indian constitution and Indian polity. What is federation?
Sharing of power between the state and the center, means the power is distributed between the state and the center.
Very good. Okay, very good. Arpit?
Yes. Hi, Jithin.
Why it is 4:40? कहाँ था?
It was
class
extend over.
Okay, was the recordings? Okay, was the recordings?
Yes, I will go through the recording. That's not a problem.
Oh, okay. समझ में आ रहा है ना पिछला सब कुछ? You are getting
everything is clear. कोई problem.
Okay. See, federation or federalism. When you use the term federation or federalism, okay. When you use the term federation or federalism, it means what it means? It means center-state relation. What it means? It means center-state relation. Okay. When we use term federalism, it means center-state relationship. I am very sad to say that Mayank was not there in previous classes and he answered it first, and there were other people who were in the previous classes, and I have said this, used this word many times, and you did answer. Don't take me into such a stage where I have to scold you guys, and you guys are very matured enough to understand the seriousness of this examination. Okay, so I won't be same always. Palak, what is federalism? What is federalism?
It is the sharing of power between the center and the state.
Okay, now let us take the concept bit more deeper. Okay, true federation. What are the features of a true federation? See, true federation means center has some power, state has some power, center has some power. Center means which government? Harsh, कौन सी government है center में?
Central government.
Central government कौन सी है हर्ष? मोदी government. हर्ष मोदी fan है पक्का है हर्ष? ऐसे कुछ है? So in center government you have Modi government, and there are various state government, like state government of Karnataka. We have a lot of people from Karnataka. State government of we have like Arunachal Pradesh se we have, and like state government of Jammu and Kashmir. So union territory. Okay, So all this government, state government, union territory government and central government coexist together or work in a cohesive manner. They work together for the betterment of the nation. That is a true federation. Okay, itna samajh mein aa gaya? Chumpi, have you got the concept? Chumpi, have you got the concept?
Yes, sir.
Kirtana, you got the concept? Itna, your voice is not coming here. Arya got the concept?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us take this concept bit more deep. Okay, it is where central government and state mute yourself. Okay, it is the place where central government and state government work in a cohesive manner for the betterment of the country. Now, what are the features of a true federation? A true federation के क्या-क्या features होते हैं? Like what are the features of true federation? Now, let us analysis one by one. A true federation should have a written constitution. Now, I have already explained what is a written constitution. Palak will explain what is a written constitution.
In a written constitution, all the things are arranged in a systematically way.
हाँ, सही कह रहे हो. The chai, tea, coffee, everything is arranged in a systematic.
All the articles, like Article 1, Article 2, Article 3, they are arranged in a systematic way in order.
Okay.
Then a written constitution is in a written constitution there is a supremacy of constitution, that is constitution is above all.
Very good.
Then written constitution is enacted in a specific period of time.
By किसने? Enacted by whom?
By a group of people.
Okay. In case of India, who enacted the Constitution of India? Constituent Assembly. Very correct. See, in a written constitution, provisions are codified. Right? In the written constitution, provisions are codified. Point number one. What is second point? Constitution supremacy. What constitution is above all? Supremacy is there. What is the third point?
Enacted by a group of people or body.
Over a specific time. Specific time. How long it take to enact the Constitution of India? By group of people.
2 years, 11 months, and 18 days.
2 years, 11 months, and 18 days. So these are the features of a written constitution. And this जो भी देश, whichever country having a written true federation, whichever country having a true federation, like whichever country is having a true federation, it should have all these features. So let us check India is having these features or not. Does India have a written constitution?
Yes.
Yes.
So India is having this feature. Supremacy of constitution should be there. That is, constitution should be above all. Constitution should be above all. No one should be above constitution. Do we have this feature? भारत का संविधान सबसे बड़ा है या नहीं है?
Yes.
So supremacy of constitution is there. Okay. What is rigid constitution? What do you mean by
rigid constitution? Is
amendment.
One by one. Arpit को बोल दो. Arpit बहुत देर बात है.
Okay, rigid constitution is something where there are plenty of laws in the constitution itself for amending or for changing the constitution. For example, like there are 3 types of already majority you have spoken about. One is like the amendments can be made simple by the simple majority of the parliament.
No. You mixed it up.
A rigid constitution is a constitution wherein the amendments cannot be made for some part of the constitution. Some part of the constitution you have to bring in amendments for it.
No, you see, it is bit wrong statement. You are correct to some extent. See, rigid constitution is that constitution in which amendment can be made, but the process of amending the constitution is not easy one. It is a difficult process to amend the constitution. Okay, even in the rigid constitution, amendments can be made, but the process of amending certain provisions of the constitution is difficult. Clear? भारत के संविधान में कुछ प्रोविजंस ऐसे हैं, भारत के संविधान में कुछ प्रोविजंस ऐसे हैं जहां पर अमेंडमेंट हो सकता है, भारत के संविधान में कुछ प्रोसेस ऐसे हैं जहां पर अमेंडमेंट हो सकता है, बट उस प्रोविजंस को, उस चीज को अमेंड करने का प्रोसेस, उस चीज को अमेंड करने का प्रक्रिया, द प्रोसेस ऑफ अमेंडिंग सच पार्ट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज अ डिफिकल्ट वन, नॉट एन इजी वन. इज इट क्लियर और नॉट? क्लियर और नॉट? Arpit, my clear. So India is having a rigid constitution.
So India is having a quasi-federal constitution now.
Just a point from my side, Jithin. Like Jithin, with respect to the rigid constitution itself, it's complicated because there are many for amending any law. For many of the cases, a consent had to be taken from both the state and from the center also. So the complication. Sometimes it's within the parliament powers itself. Sometimes we have to take in consideration of both center and the state. So there are plenty of complications, permutation and combination which you have to apply for amending any law in this. So it becomes a little rigid. That's why it's a rigid constitution.
Yeah. So that's what I said. No, in order to amend the rigid constitution, in order to amend certain provisions of the constitution, the process of amending is complicated. Okay, I will come to that in bit more detail. I'm coming to that topic in bit more detail. Okay, इतना आपको समझ में आ गया कि India is having a written constitution, supremacy of constitution, and the constitution of India is rigid. To an extent, it is rigid. Palak, you are saying something. You were saying something.
मैंने पढ़ा था कि India is having a quasi-federal constitution, rigidity as well as flexibility.
That is what I'm coming to. You guys are asking same questions. Okay, see, Indian constitution has certain provisions in, take my points very clearly. Indian constitution has certain provisions in which the amendment process is difficult. भारत के संविधान में कुछ provisions ऐसे हैं जिसको amend करने का process difficult है. Okay, अब now I am explaining you the concept in bit more deeper. ठीक है? What are rigid provisions? What are rigid provisions? Usually वो provisions, देखो normally constitution amend कैसे होता है? How you amend the constitution? Lok Sabha can pass a resolution, pass a bill, and Rajya Sabha can pass a bill. President sign, ठीक है? President sign और constitution get amended. ऐसे ही होता है. Is this a process? Chumpi, is this a process?
Yes, sir.
लोकसभा में बिल पास किया, राज्यसभा में पास किया, प्रेसिडेंट ने साइन किया और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन गेट अमेंडमेंट. बट जब रिजिड, सपोज हम मध्य प्रदेश से रिलेटेड कोई बात कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? अब क्या होगा, ये प्रोसेस थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड क्यों हो जाएगा? लोकसभा ने बिल पास किया, राज्यसभा ने पास किया, नाउ ये प्रेसिडेंट के साइन करने से पहले ये मध्य प्रदेश पे जाएगा. मध्य प्रदेश की स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली उसको इस प्रोविजन को पास करना पड़ेगा. वहां पर भी ये मेजॉरिटी से पास हो गया तो फिर ये यहाँ वापस आएगा, उसके बाद ये प्रेसिडेंट के पास जाएगा. In that way only rigid provisions can be amended. Clear or not? The state factor is considered. In order to amend the certain provisions of a rigid constitution, in order to amend the certain provisions of the rigid constitution, the concern of the state has to be taken into consideration. उस state का concern लेना बहुत ज़्यादा जरूरी है. The concern of the particular state has to be taken into consideration. Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Sakshi, clear?
Yes.
Manju, clear? Manju, Navya?
Sir, can you please give an example of rigid provision?
I will come to that topic. The next topic itself is rigid provisions.
Okay.
Sir, in rigid provisions, what about the provisions which will affect the entire country? Like if it is affecting all the states, so then it will go to all the states and all the state.
No, 3/4 of the state had to rectify. 3/4 of the state. 3/4.
But it will go to all the states.
Yeah. It will go to all the states. I will explain you rigid provisions after I complete this topic. No, the next topic will be what are the rigid provisions. Okay. Sharda, is it okay or not?
Yes, sir, it's okay.
Okay. Now, I have to explain the provisions of a rigid constitution. Just wait for that. Written constitution, supremacy of the constitution is done. Now write down division of power. How in India we divide the power? Just आप लोगों ने पढ़ा हुआ है पहले ही, just सोच के आंसर देना कि how in India division of power takes place. How in India division of power takes place. Just think and answer. Just think and answer. You have learned already this.
Center, state, and local. The legislative, executive, and judiciary.
No.
There are three lists which have.
Very correct. There are three lists: union list, state list,
and concurrent list.
Concurrent list. See, this is what UPSC does. आपको ये चीज में बार बार कम से कम 1.5 क्लास में मैंने ये पढ़ाया है, बट मैंने आपको क्वेश्चन अलग तरीके से पूछ लिया तो यू गॉट मेस्ड अप. ठीक है. इन यूनियन लिस्ट सेंटर गवर्नमेंट कैन मेक द लॉस. इन स्टेट लिस्ट state government can make the laws. In concurrent list both center government and state government can make the laws. In concurrent list both center government and state government can make the laws. यहाँ पे division of power ही तो हो रहा है. Union list is making a law on a subject of center, state government is making a law on state subject, and concurrent list both of them can make the laws. That means there is a clear cut division of power, isn't it? Yes. Isn't it or not? So there is a clear cut. So this concept is also there with India. Okay, so first written constitution is there, supremacy of constitution is there, rigid constitution, certain provisions of Indian constitution are rigid. I am going to discuss that provision separately. Now let us talk about bicameral legislature. क्या हमारे देश में bicameral legislature है? Do we have bicameral legislature?
Yes.
What is that?
Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha.
Very correct. We have two houses, that is bicameral legislature. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is there. So this concept is also there with India. Okay, let us check the last point. Independence of judiciary. Do we have independence of judiciary?
Yes.
Okay. So all the provisions needed for a true federation, India made. What are the provisions? Written constitution, supremacy of constitution, rigid constitution. Certain provisions of Indian constitution are rigid. Division of power, that is power is divided between union government, central union government, state government, and there is a concurrent list. We have bicameral legislature, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and we have an independent judiciary. इतना समझ में आ गया? Navya, you got these points clear? Navya,
yes,
you got it clear?
Yes, sir.
Bhuwana, you got it clear?
Yes, sir.
100%?
Yes, sir.
Manju, you got it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, there was a... Sharda is asking something.
Sir, I couldn't hear the previous thing because I couldn't hear you properly. Can you please explain this point once more?
Which point? Which point? Which point?
Just now you explained something. I couldn't hear it properly.
I was asking. Bicameral legislature.
Yes, sir.
In bicameral legislature, we have two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. That is it.
Okay.
And I was asking. Okay, it's okay, no issue. And there is independence of judiciary. No one can interfere into law. Okay. Now, write down. See, this thing you need to understand. Rigid constitution. Okay. Write down. Write down Indian constitution. Write down Indian, make a star and write it down so you get the concept easily. Okay. Indian constitution is a flexible constitution. Is a flexible constitution with certain provisions rigid. Indian constitution is a flexible constitution with certain provisions rigid. Clear? The constitution can be classified as flexible constitution and rigid constitution. the constitution can be classified as flexible constitution and rigid constitution on the basis of process of amendment. On the basis of process of amendment. Flexible constitution
On the basis of
process of amendment करने के तरीके से. Clear mind?
yes sir, yes sir.
Okay, write down. A flexible constitution is that constitution in which amendment can be done easily. Whereas the rigid provisions of constitution can also be amended, but the process of amendment is bit difficult. That means after central legislature passes the bill of amendment, it has to be rectified by state legislature as well. इतना क्लियर हो गया कि वो प्रोविजंस जिसमें सेंट्रल लेजिस्लेचर के बिल को पास करने के बाद स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर का भी परमिशन चाहिए होता है. उस टाइप के प्रोसेस को रिजिड प्रोविजंस कहते हैं. क्लियर? दिस मच इज क्लियर?
So sir, we can say that the all unwritten constitution like Britain's constitution is a flexible constitution.
Yeah, it is very much flexible constitution. It is a very much flexible constitution. Any provisions can be. Okay. Now,
So,
in case of
sir, we can't consider any provisions as rigid provision if it only needs central legislature.
We can't consider. So the process of amendment becomes easy, no? The process of amendment becomes easy. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. Now write down. In case of India, certain provisions are rigid. If such provisions are to be amended, we need permission of 50%, more than 50% of total state. अगर ऐसे rigid provisions को amend करना है, in order to amend such rigid provisions, rectification of 50% of states is required. Rectification of 50%. मतलब भारत में अगर 28 स्टेट्स है तो मोर देन 50% का अप्रूवल चाहिए. क्लियर? और इन केस ऑफ अमेरिका, इन देयर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, अगर उनके कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में कोई रिजिड प्रोविजन को अमेंड करना है तो जैसे मैं को थोड़ी देर पहले बताया था 3/4 चाहिए अमेरिकन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में, वेयर एज इन केस ऑफ इंडिया इट इज 50%. क्लियर और नॉट? आर्या?
Clear.
ओके. साक्षी, पलक?
Yes, sir.
ओके. नाउ हमारे संविधान में, हमारे देश के संविधान में रिजिड प्रोविजंस कौन कौन से होते हैं? व्हाट आर द रिजिड प्रोविजंस इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया? राइट डाउन फास्ट, राइट डाउन. रिजिड प्रोविजंस इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया. आर्टिकल 54 and 55. Article 54 and 55 dealing with election of president. Article 54 and 55 dealing with election of president. Written? Written?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
There are other provisions also. Shall we continue in next class? Or
Yes.
shall we continue in next class? Or shall I continue it now? Take 5 more minutes and complete this.
Sir, अभी कर लो.
Abhi kar lu. Write down.
Yes.
Article 54 and 55 dealing with election of president. Point number 2. Article 73 and 162. Article 73 and 162 dealing with powers of union government and state government. Dealing with powers of union government and state government. Any provisions related to, point number 3, any provisions related to judiciary, any provisions related to judiciary, that is High Court, Supreme Court, etc. Any provisions related to judiciary, I will explain each one. Okay, each one. क्यों ये rigid provisions है? Chapter 1, write down 4th point. Chapter 1 of Part 11 of Indian Constitution. Chapter 1 of Part 11 of Indian Constitution dealing with center-state relationship. Chapter 1 of Part 11 of Indian Constitution dealing with center-state relationship.
Sir, what is after Article 73 and 162?
You have missed 2 points. Provisions related to judiciary. Provisions related to judiciary, that is Supreme Court, High Court, and other courts of the country. Okay, next point is Chapter 1 of Part 11 of Indian Constitution. Chapter 1 of Part 11 of Indian Constitution.
Yes, sir, that I got.
Okay, now write down the next point. Representation of states in Rajya Sabha. Representation of states in Rajya Sabha. Next point, any list under Schedule 7. Any list under Schedule 7. Any list under Schedule 7, that is state list, concurrent list, or union list. Any list under Schedule 7. इसमें कोई बदलाव लाना है तो we need the rectification of state. C. And anything dealing with Article 368, that is the process of amending the Constitution of India. Anything dealing with Article 368, that is process of amending the Constitution of India. Written or not?
Yes, sir.
See, पहला point क्या बोला था? Article 54 and 55. President of India is a very honorable post, right? अगर उनके election के process में कोई भी change लाना है, तो what we need 50% rectification of a particular state. 50% उस state का rectification चाहिए. भारत के 50%, more than 50%. Central government अपने मन से कुछ भी नहीं कर सकता. The central government cannot do anything on its own. If you need to amend the process of election of President of India, which deals with Article 54 and 55, the rectification of 50% of states is required. Clear? Clear or not? Manju, clear?
Yes,
Manju,
sir.
clear? Okay.
Yes.
Article 73 and 162. Article 73 और 162 क्या कहता है? यूनियन के पास कौन सी पावर है और स्टेट के पास कौन सी पावर है? यूनियन गवर्नमेंट के पास कौन सी पावर है और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के पास कौन सी पावर है? उसमें कोई चेंज लाना है. If there has to be any change made in that, the central government needs to have rectification of state government. अगर ये नहीं होता तो क्या होता? If I am Modi Sarkar and if this process was not intact, I would have taken all the powers of state government under me. So in order to avoid the central government ज़्यादा dominant ना हो जाए, this process is put into the Indian Constitution. Is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now the third point, anything dealing with law, Supreme Court, High Court, Subordinate Court, इससे कोई भी चीज डील करता है, that thing अगर नहीं होता तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट कानून को अपने हिसाब से बदल देती. They would have changed the law as per their requirement. So in order to avoid that, there is the provisions, anything related to judiciary, if it is needed to be amended, the rectification of state government is needed to be taken into consideration. Is it clear or not? Okay.
But sir, if there is any rectification in the judiciary powers of in India, then again the judiciary has the utmost power to declare it null and void.
The judiciary has the power, but I'm not talking about the judicial aspect right now. See, the process of amending Supreme Court judge, the process of removing Supreme Court judge lies with the legislature. Lies with the legislature. अगर imagine a situation कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज से कोई प्रॉब्लम है और उन्होंने उनको रातों रात बदल दिया, देयर इज द वाइटल रोल ऑफ दिस प्रोविजंस कि तब तो जुडिशरी कुछ नहीं कर पाएगी, तो जुडिशरी कैन नॉट डू एनीथिंग देयर. सो देयर इज दिस प्रोविजंस गेट वेरी मच एक्टिव दैट state government's roles comes into play. Clear?
No sir, my doubt was, like you said, the provision for removing the Supreme Court judge. If a proposal is put up and they say that the current Supreme Court judge is to be removed, can the Supreme Court overrule these decisions?
No, these decisions cannot be overruled. Like removal of Supreme Court judge, if the legislature takes the decision and president signs it, is final. But there are certain provisions, like in case of judicial review, जब कोई जुडिशरी के पास जाता है एंड ये कहता है कि ये एक्ट अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, ये एक्ट अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, उसमें जुडिशियल रिव्यू हो सकता है और उसको नल एंड वॉइड डिक्लेयर कर सकते हैं. और जुडिशरी से
but then abhi recently sir, there was a case wherein the judiciary was questioned that you make Supreme Court judges on your own, means there is no process involved in it. Whomsoever they want, they make the Supreme Court judges and उसपे PIA.
No, Supreme Court judges बनाने का, अगर Supreme Court के judges बनने का एक criteria होता है. You are talking about that case where Chamleshwar was overlooked and the other person was made as Chief Justice.
Yes, sir,
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
See, there is a provisions, or there is a criteria to make the Supreme Court judge. अब हो सकता है उस केस में क्या हुआ था, दोनों का रिटायरमेंट एज कोलाइड हो रहा था, ठीक है, एक 6 महीने रिटायरमेंट था एक का और अदर पर्सन को उन्होंने अपॉर्चुनिटी दिया. ऐसे इफ्स एंड बट्स होते रहते हैं. बट द मेजर थिंग इज whenever anything comes to in terms with judiciary, that all are political aspects. Whatever you are talking, no, that things comes. और इंडिया में पॉलिटिक्स बहुत होता है, ठीक है. That was completely a political aspect where the person was overlooked and other person was made the CGI of India. But what I am talking is, like, whenever anything related to judiciary comes, the rectification of the state has to be taken into consideration. Okay. Okay. Now, and I'll tell you one more thing. Like, give me 2 more minutes. Chapter 1 of Part 11. Anything that is dealing with center-state relationship. कि अभी देखो, center is powerful. Center is powerful, but state is also there. But there has to be a scenario where center and state का relationship properly maintained रहे, दोनों का अपना अपना दायरा हो. Center is doing this and state is doing this. ऐसा नहीं कि center अपना दायरा बढ़ा ले और state का काम भी center करने लगे. So anything dealing with center-state relationship, आप उसमें कोई change करना चाहते हैं, so you need the permission of the concerned state. Next point is, राज्यसभा में कितना रिप्रेजेंटेशन होगा एक पर्टिकुलर स्टेट से. राज्यसभा में कितना रिप्रेजेंटेशन होगा एक पर्टिकुलर स्टेट से, वो भी अगर उसमें भी कोई चेंज लाना है, तो अगर किसी स्टेट से 5 रिप्रेजेंटेशन है और उसको 3 करना है, तो यू नीड द रेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर स्टेट. ओके. सेकेंड लास्ट पॉइंट इज एनीथिंग डीलिंग विद, अगर आपको यूनियन लिस्ट, कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट और स्टेट लिस्ट में कोई चेंजेस लाना है, तो यू नीड द रेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ पर्टिकुलर 50% स्टेट. एंड भारत के संविधान को अमेंड करने का आर्टिकल 368, like 368 is the article which is used to amend the constitution of India. उस amend करने के प्रोसेस में, if any changes has to be made in the process of amending the constitution, आर्टिकल 368 में कोई चेंजेस लाना है. अब आर्टिकल 368 में लिखा है कि भारत का संविधान कैसे अमेंड होगा. इस आर्टिकल 368 में कोई चेंजेस लाना है, तो यू नीड रेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ द स्टेट्स. इज इट क्लियर और नॉट?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Baki, next things we will do in next class. It's already time. Okay, already time. And one thing I like to advise you is, whenever you are learning Indian polity, It should be on the basis of constitutional aspect. There will be various ifs and buts on the grounds of political aspect. Political parties, political agenda, political propaganda हमारे देश में बहुत सारा होता है, ठीक है? When as UPSC students, whenever you are learning a subject, it should be neutral. You will not be biased to any political party. You will be not biased to any political propaganda. You have to be neutral. Okay? Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Aryan, you got it? Aman,
Yes.
Chumpi, Kirti, Manju, Mayank, Navya, Palak.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Surya. Okay. Good night, guys. Have a nice day. Take care.
Thank you. Jithin.